Hello there, my name is Barnabas, your data protection pal, and once again, I'm here to answer common questions with regards to privacy and data protection. So under the Singapore Personal Data Protection Act, who needs to comply with the PDPA? This is a very common question people ask. So the answer is this. The Personal Data Protection Act of Singapore applies to all organizations in Singapore. And when they say all organizations in Singapore, it includes companies for profit or not for profit. Any registered entity in Singapore that does business in Singapore must comply with the Personal Data Protection Act. So there is no argument. If you are an organization doing business in Singapore, whether you are doing it for profit or non-profit organizations, including charities, religious organizations, or societies, you have to comply with the PDPA. Do find out more from local practitioners on how to comply with the PDPA. So for those of you who are going to form a company in Singapore, maybe you are a multinational company coming to Singapore, or you're going to have a branch office in Singapore, please also know that you have to also comply with the PDPA and do seek advice from privacy practitioners in Singapore. Oh, you can look for me as well. So this is to clear it up. So how about informal organizations? Well, in Singapore, before I talk about informal organizations, I would like to let you know that in Singapore, even the financial advisors are their own data protection officers, and they have to comply with the PDPA as well. So for informal organizations, although there has not been any formal enforcement made to any informal organization, and when I say informal means it's an organization that has not been registered, maybe it's a Facebook group or a WhatsApp group, there's no enforcement cases yet, but I believe that they also have to comply with the Personal Data Protection Act. There's one particular case that I might want to highlight, although it was not a PDPA enforcement, it was an enforcement on a Telegram group. So the Telegram group is actually an informal group, but because they were doing something contravened to the law, the administrators of that Telegram group were enforced, and they actually were sentenced to jail. They had a jail term. So with that, I guess it's really important for all organizations, formal or even informal organizations, to comply with the PDPA. And as long as you collect, use, and disclose personal data, better to comply with the PDPA, because if you start early, it becomes a culture that builds on in the organization, and people will begin to understand the importance and respect personal data. And I think that's really more important. So remember, so who needs to comply with PDPA in Singapore? All organizations, formal or informal, should comply with PDPA. If you're a formal organization, for profit or non-profit, you must comply with PDPA. So my name is Barnabas, your data protection pal, and hope to see you soon. Be good and be safe and protect your personal data.